In this video, I'm going to cover one of the biggest lessons that I learned about systems and the problems they can solve when I was working with Leila and Alex Hormozi. Now, if you need clarification on what is a systems integrator, go ahead and check out my last video where I broke that down in detail. But in short, my job is to save you more time and money with systems so that you can enjoy doing more of what you love, like spending time with your family and working more on your business instead of like inside your business. So first off, what's a system? Now, this word is thrown around a lot of the time in business, but let's give some meaning to it so you can understand how powerful they can be inside your business. A system is an organized way of presenting steps in a repeatable process that gets the same intended result every single time it's executed. Think about it like it's kind of like a recipe, right? So for example, if we're cooking a pizza, right? Because why not? We all love food, so let's talk about cooking pizza. So step one would be like to preheat the oven to 450 degrees. Step two would be combine the flour, the eggs, baking powder in order to make the dough. Then we've got to flatten it. Then we've got to add the sauce. Then step five is to add the cheese. And then we've got to bake it in the oven for 45 minutes. And step seven is to eat the pizza, right? So, whether you refer to it as a recipe, a system, a checklist, the truth of the matter is this. Anything that can be done in your business can be done by somebody else. Okay, now I know that's not groundbreaking, okay, but ultimately what I'm trying to get across is that like there's nothing really special about your business, okay? And I'm going to touch on what can make your business special, but I just want to point that out. And if it couldn't be, okay, like if it couldn't be done by somebody else, there'd be no such thing as a job, right? And there'd be no such thing as you having competitors, right? But that's not the reality that we live in. So with that said, like, how do you scale your business and crush your competition? This was pretty much the same question I was asking when I first started working with Leila and Alex Hormozi. I kept asking them questions like, what's the magic words I need to say in my ads to convert my prospects? Like, how do I keep my clients longer? And they basically said to me like, Juan, listen, there's no magic words, there's no secret sauce. The easiest way to scale your business and crush your competition is just by doing the basics and doing them all the time, period. Because the fact of the matter is that most businesses out there are great at what they do, but they can't make it great every single time, which ultimately means they're not that great, right? Because think about it. Like, have you ever tried a new restaurant and you love the experience, you love the food, but then you went there again and you had a terrible experience and the food tasted horrible, right? Like, are you gonna go back? Probably not, okay? And that's an example, like, everybody can be great, but they're not great all the time, right? And that's because they didn't have systems in place to guarantee a positive experience for you. Think about it. What if you found a restaurant that literally guaranteed like you'll be seated within 5 minutes of you walking in the door and the food is going to taste great or your money back, right? Let's say you go there and they meet on their promise. You're going to go to that restaurant every time, right? Of course you would. Because as their customer, you know what to expect. You know that they're going to take care of you and you know you're going to be happy. And then what happens? As a happy customer, you're going to recommend that restaurant to all of your friends, right? And that's just the way that it works. That's naturally what we like to do. And like, what if you had a customer referral generation system on the back end that's streamlined and simple for your customers to use? Of course, they're going to recommend their friends, right? And why is that? That's because the business has systems in place to ensure that every single customer that walks in the door has a good experience and has an easy way to tell their friends about it. Dan Kennedy said, ultimately, the business that can spend the most to acquire a customer wins. With that in mind, a business that has systems like some of the simple ones I just mentioned is going to be able to get more customers via referrals, right? They'll be able to get new customers via referrals as well as keep them longer because they have a great experience, right? Than their competition. that doesn't have systems in place. And if you're able to retain your customers longer, that increases the long-time value, that increases the lifetime value of your customer, which means increased revenue and more predictable revenue so that you as the business owner can reinvest that back into growing and scaling your business. So that means that you can now afford to hire top quality team members and spend more on marketing, right? So that's just an example. And in my next video, I'm going to actually walk you through an example of how to create a simple system like this, as well as what it looks like. Stay tuned, guys.